Good morning. Happy Monday to you. I'm Hot Rod Bob, and you've got gas. The morning edition. I posted a little while ago about the ones that got away. Now, this is a question that Randy Kerdoon asks when we do talking about cars. And it's amazing the different responses we'll get from people about the cars that have passed, the cars that have gone on to another person's hands. What has changed? Why did they go? Do you have remorse? Or is it one of those things where they just had to go? Well, I've been in the situation more times than I can count, and I've had a number of cars that I wish I still had today. But for the time, it was right to get rid of them. And why was it right? I don't remember. It was too long ago. However, it's happening again, and it happened yesterday to me. Yeah, one of the cars we had in our garage is finding a new home. I advertised it for sale, see how things would go, and whether or not we could move on to something a little bit more interesting to us, something that Peg and I would rather have. It was a cool car. It had been in my family for, oh gosh, over 15 years. It was my son's high school car. It was the car he built and kept building until business requirements for him and where he lived no longer allowed him to keep it in his possession. So I was able to buy it back from him for the second time. Actually, I bought it for the second time. And I paid for it twice what I paid the first time. And, well, I paid for the engine too the first time. And a whole bunch of other things along the way. But that's part of car ownership. It's part of our hobby, our life. We buy cars. We have a vision. We know what the car will look like when we get done. Do we ever get done? I don't know. Panks had a great day at the drags at Santa Pod this weekend. Thanks for the photos. Well, our car will be going down the road in the next day or so, and it will end a chapter in this family of this cool custom. Now, I've had many cars over the years. Many of you who know me know the extensive list of stuff I've had. But let's talk about some of them and why they left. The first custom, I guess you could say, I built was a 1960 Ford Falcon. And it was in high school. I bought something, misguided as it may be, because I had crashed a car before, and it was not within repairable limits as far as I could tell. Wrong move on my part. I should have fixed it, but I didn't. So I bought the Falcon, blew the motor up very quickly, put a new motor in, blew the transmission up, blew the rear axle up, modified it, changed things on it, made it personalized, made it a quite unique vehicle for the time. I wasn't able to have a real muscle car, so I did the things to it that made it reminiscent of a muscle car. I put the shifter on the floor. It was 3 on the tree when I got it, and now I had a shifter on the floor. So it was 3 on the floor. And every car that's fast has to have a roll bar. Well, it was a metal shop project. I made a roll bar for it. Then I needed more room to carry friends, so I made the trunk into a rumble seat. Unique. There wasn't anything like it around. I thought it was cool. So did my friends. I put a competition stripe across the nose on an angle, similar to what you'd see on a Camaro of the time, but not quite the same. I did it myself, as I did on the car that I had just replaced. I went in the service at the end of high school, about 2 weeks out of high school, actually. And my mother sold the car. She needed the money. And technically, it really was her car. I was too young to have something in my own name at the time. And she initially paid for it. I worked to pay for the other things. So that car went away. Now, in response, my aunt assisted me in getting a 1954 Mercury. Cool car, all original, like 30,000 miles on the car. And this was a car that was 15, 16 years old at the time. It was cool. Not as cool as they are today. I picked that thing up in New York, drove it cross country, and kept it for a couple of years, but it went away too. I don't even remember why I sold it, but I did. And it found a new home. Well, I got out of the service, and I decided to build a Ford van. I was happy with the outcome. Wild Bill Carter did the pinstriping on it. It had flames, just like every hot machine would have. It was in a magazine. As a matter of fact, it was in 4 magazines. So I did something right. And for a 21, 22-year-old, 21-year-old, something like that, I did pretty good, and I was pretty proud of my accomplishment. But I ran out of money, and I couldn't finish what I had started. So it went down the road. Now, I was able to sell it for enough to replace it with my first wooden station wagon, a Buick Woody. This thing was huge. It was cool. It was hard to feed because that Buick ate gas. Well, I was living on GI Bill at the time and working, and GI Bill quit for the summer. I had to cover the rent, and I had to cover the food, and I couldn't cover the car insurance at the same time. And so it went down the road. That's the one that got away that I wish I still had, or was one of the first ones that got away that I wish I still had anyway. And it's a cool car. Now, back in the day, I paid $400 for it. I sold it for $600. Thought I did good. Covered the rent and some extra after that. But it's gone. Never to be seen again. And now they're worth about $70,000, $80,000.
Ooh, what a mistake I made.
Well, it went away, and I went through a series of sports cars and others, and some of them I regret selling, some of them I don't. Yvonne, you like the shirt, huh? Hey, you gave it to me. Cruisin' Brothers, one of the great organizations we're part of, and really loved the group of guys in that club. But we've talked about clubs before. So over the years, I've gone through a lot of cars. The latest one that's going away, as I said, was originally purchased for my son. And he did a number of modifications on it. Some of them top quality, some of them interesting. All of them his ideas, his design, his desires. And you know what? The car is cool. And the new purchaser, well, he thinks the same thing. He thinks the car is cool. And one of the things that happened, now, Yvonne just brought up the Cruisin' Brothers shirt I'm wearing because it's a car club we belong to. But in this hobby of cars, we're finding that there's a 6th degree of separation, where I know the guy on the left, the guy on my right knows me, but also knows the guy on my left. But I didn't know that he knew that he knew that they knew each other. And that's what happened last night when we sold our car. A gentleman calls from Northern California, or further north than we are here, and says, "I'd like to come look at your car." Okay, no problem. You got a hour and a half, 2-hour drive, but I'm here. Come on down and look at it. So on his way down, he has some acquaintances and friends and family in the area that I live. So he talks to one of them. Well, that one knows my car, knows me, knows my wife, sold my wife her car. Whoa, we're hanging out in the same car clubs there. Well, he gets here, and looks at the car, and this other gentleman that I knew and he knew that we didn't know, we both knew, came over to the house. He's looking at it. He's going, "Hey, guys, yeah, hey, we're going cool, and we're friends." And it's now a community. Now there's more validity to me and the car, and there's more confidence that what I am offering this gentleman is a quality product, which it is. Oh, it needs work. It's not a finished car by any means, but it's available, and it's there. All right, now we get a little bit further into this. He asked me if I've seen this particular car, not mine, but another car, that's parked around the corner from me. I go, "Well, yeah, we were just talking about it the other day because it's got some different wheels on it than the factory put on the car, and they're not to my liking." And, well, we find out it's not to his liking either, and it's his family member's car. They live in the same complex I live in. So that's how close this car community is. But we're talking about cars that got away, and it's just kind of interesting, the intertwining of this car community. Well, our car's going away. Within the next day or so, he'll be picking it up. And Robert, I hope you enjoy this cool cruising car, because you're going to like it. And I hope there's never a day when you regret having to sell it. I've got my regrets already. After all, it's been part of the family for over a decade. It was the first car my son actually built, and he worked on it quite hard, put his heart and soul into the car. He no longer could keep it and sold it to me. It still had a place in our family and a place in my heart too, because he was so proud of that car when he got it. He was 16 years old. He did things to it and was proud of the outcome, the craftsmanship he learned and put into it. I'm sure he has some regrets of getting rid of it. And I will too. But there are always going to be another car to replace the one that got away. Tell me your stories. Post your pictures on my page. Let's see about those cars that got away. I put a few of mine up. Put a few of yours up as well. I'm Hot Rod Bob. You've got Gas, the morning edition. And we're talking about the ones that got away. Remember, Gas brought to you by Service Tech Equipment Company, where while you're working on that car before it gets away, Service Tech's got the equipment you need. Check them out right here on Facebook. Service Tech Equipment Company. We'll talk to you guys later. And remember, mention Bob Beck or GAAS, the Great American Auto Scene. And if you'd like to get one of their new Pulse chargers, it's 10% off. Can't beat the deal. And you won't find them at Pet Boys or anyplace else. These are high-quality professional service equipment pieces. And you can get one for as little. We'll talk to you later. Bye now. You've got Gas, the morning edition.